Good afternoon, friends. Stephen Ben-Nun here with Israeli News Live on our Patreon. I'll get the word right here in a minute. Anyway, Patreon. Listen, I wanted to share a few things with you guys, and I've got quite a few videos I'm still going to try to put out. I'll at least try to record this weekend. May load them over a couple of days on into Monday, Tuesday there, kind of like we did last week. I think we did 4 last week there. But this was something I think I spoke to you guys already about, the Super Soldier program. This actually began back in the 80s, but what I have up on the screen, just to kind of give you an idea about this, was Stalin, his own, Joseph Stalin, the Russian dictator. He actually also tried to do a Super Soldier program using apes and humans. And kind of like the Planet of the Apes series, the old movie back. Of course, I used to see that when I was a young kid there. The Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin ordered the creation of Planet of the Apes-style warriors by crossing humans with apes, according to recently uncovered secret documents. Moscow archives show that in the mid-1920s, Russia's top animal breeding scientist, Ilya Ivanov, was ordered to turn his skills from horse and animal work to quest for a super warrior. Now, of course, that was unsuccessful with them. They actually brought a black woman and impregnated her with a ape sperm, and that failed. They tried vice versa, a ape with male sperm injected into the fetus there, and of course was unsuccessful. So Joseph Stalin never was able to create this, but the U.S., with the help of the aliens at Dulce, the underground base there back in the 80s, were successful. They actually, though, were creating their creature from gorilla and human DNA. That was the way they did it. And initially, they would actually put those fetuses inside of a cow to be delivered by a cow. In fact, early on, the U.S. government it wasn't so much aliens that were abducting the cows, it was the U.S. government abducting the cows with helicopters. And then, of course, once someone had kind of caught what the U.S. government was doing, they scrapped the program. Now, granted, you got to keep in mind, it wasn't that the U.S. government was just abducting cows. The U.S. government was also heavily involved with the reptilians specifically at the Dulce, New Mexico underground base there on the 6th and 7th level there, of creating these types of monstrous type creatures that they did. Well, the Super Soldier was one of those there, the initial one that they bred, or they mixed the DNA, as I said, with gorilla and that of human DNA to create what ended up being between 7 to 8 foot on average height of a super soldier, all the way up to 10 foot in height. After, though, that, and I forget exactly all the details behind that exposure that went on, then the U.S. Decided to, at that point, no longer to abduct the cows for using them for incubators of this super soldier, but rather they were incubated inside of these tanks that had an amber-colored type of liquid that they would be incubated in. I was told, though, that the mission was never fully successful. We did release the super soldiers in the wildernesses of Russia and China, unbeknownst to the Russian and Chinese governments. And it has been believed that a lot of these sightings of what people would consider to be Bigfoot were, in fact, these particular creatures. Now, I know I've already shared some of this with you already on another broadcast, but I wanted to give you a little bit more detail there because I don't think I'd actually shared the part about releasing them over into Russia and China as of yet. But yeah, that is actually the case. Anyway, crazy stuff going on, I'll tell you what. It's just really nuts. All right, the other thing I wanted to share with you, though, is about remote viewing. there's still a part that I wanted to share with you, and I've not been able to find my notes on the correct verbiage on this. Maybe I can pull this off here real quick here. Let me briefly look at my notes though, but I want to take and share with you though about remote viewing. Remote viewing on levels 4 and 5 in Dulce are the levels that are what we call the paranormal levels at this base. And this is where going into very deep paranormal type of activities are done there, including, as it's been disclosed, the assassination of people by those that have that ability to remote view. Now, we're not talking about remote view like what you see on the screen here, where the CIA is sitting there waiting for the guy to think up of things, what they see. We're talking about the remote viewers that leave their bodies, do what some call astral planing, but it is a way of leaving the body where they can go out and they actually go to where the individual is. It is a plane that is, I don't even really know how to describe all that to you guys. I just know that this is something that the U.S. government has had success in. Now, killing people by leaving their bodies and going to that person, wherever that person is at. And I won't go into the details of how that is actually done, but I can tell you, though, that it is done and it has been successful. I'll see if I can't actually get and identify some of those victims that this has happened to. But disturbing, to say the least. Very disturbing, in fact. Another thing, too, can't really go into that on this. Well, no, I can't go into this on this channel. I apologize. Something I'll have to do on iConnect alone because of the fact of the sensitivity of the information. But I will remember. Jesse Ventura. That's what we're going to get into, Jesse Ventura, and something that he has released, some information. I have been able to confirm that information. I'll just say it that way right there. So if any of you guys happen to be watching Jesse Ventura lately, some of the things he's been speaking about, it's true. So I'll share that on a different broadcast there. Let me real quick review my notes. So I want to see if because there's something very important I wanted to share with you, and I'll see if I can't do that real quick like. All right. So I was able to find my notes on that. Yeah, there was actually an Israeli that the United States used, the CIA was using for remote viewing, and he did the remote viewing that was more that of leaving the body and actually looking over the shoulder. I actually spoke with him a little while back. That's probably been a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago even now. I was trying to see if I couldn't reach out to him once again. But I was told that with one of the people that I know that actually worked with him directly, that one of the things that hindered him was that he would run across gatekeepers. He called them, the best I could hear, Arakotes, which reminds me of, you get into some of these other writings that are out there, and what was actually even in the Greek, in our own Bible, where it speaks about archons. And when Paul spoke about going up to the third heaven, things that he said he couldn't even mention. It was so bizarre what he was seeing. But in some of the other writings that are out there, it does speak about archons as gatekeepers. I don't know what to think about stuff like that, but I find that interesting, especially in light of what the Israeli remote viewer, one of the most gifted ones that the CIA has ever had, that spoke about that, and that the gatekeepers would not let him pass over. So who knows? Look, there's a lot of information. I've got tons of notes I want to go through and review. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one here for now. We'll be sharing a lot more different things that's coming out. And I have a feeling that even though the U.S. government is supposed to be disclosing the alien connection, things like that, looks like that Israeli News Live is going to be one of those platforms where these things are being disclosed. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live on Patreon. Thank you for listening, and blessings to you.